Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Do you know that if you invested $10,000 in 2022 in a company, you would end up with $700,000 by the end of 2024? So we were talking about this company today. The name of the company is OpenAI, and as you can see in this graph, that company rose about 450% in 2022 and is rose about 900% again. It grows its total revenue about $2 billion. So these all are technical jargons. Don't focus into that things. In a shorter term, the total valuation of the company is about $86 billion, which is more than total GDP of several other countries like Belarus, Lebanon, Panama, Uruguay, Georgia, Jordan, Cambodia, Sri Lanka, and lots of other countries. So it is a US-based company, and the CEO is Sam Altman, and it is a startup company. You can see here, and the headquarters is in San Francisco. So it is OpenAI, it is an AI-based company. So today we'll be discussing about the inter story of OpenAI and ChatGPT, because the ChatGPT is their product. So artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science that aims to create machine or software that is capable of performing tasks that are typically require human intelligence. So these tasks includes learning, reasoning, problem solving, perceptron, or like understanding the natural language or other cognitive functions. So AI systems are designed to analyze the data, recognize the patterns, and make decisions or predictions based on the information that they process. And by using the AI, we can develop some sort of robot which can perform various autonomous or semi-autonomous tasks. So robots are often integrated with various kinds of AI techniques to navigate and to interact with their environment. Okay, and for an example of the use of AI is self-driving cars. So these are the autonomous cars that are using the artificial intelligence to navigate and operate without human interventions. So the companies like the Tesla, Uber, they are developing the self-driving cars by using artificial intelligence. So these are equipped with a lot of sensors and cameras and advanced algorithms which actually allow them to perceive the environment and make the decision to control that vehicle, and that too within the safety zone. If you are considering Tesla's product like Tesla's autopilot, you can see it accesses the environmental data, and based on the history, the vehicle used to make the decision on the driving. If you are considering the face recognition AI system like Apple's Face ID run on machine learning algorithm to recognize and verify faces for security applications, and voice assistant like Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant understand and respond to the voice commands by natural language processing. If you are considering IBM Watson, it actually analyzes a large set of medical data, and based on the data, it assists doctors to diagnose diseases and suggest the corresponding treatments. So these are the very classic example of artificial intelligence contributing into the medical field. Another classic example of artificial intelligence contributing into the medical field is AlphaFold. So AlphaFold is an artificial intelligence based program which actually developed by DeepMind. You know, the DeepMind is a subsidiary of Alphabet, that is Google. And it actually develops the proper structure of the protein. And the proteins are made out of long chains of amino acid. It is called the building block. Proteins are a very, very important part to understand several kinds of disease mechanism and developing its corresponding drugs or medicine. So in that sense, that the protein structure is very important just to help understanding the disease mechanism and discovering various kinds of drugs and medicines, or developing certain kind of personalized medicine, vaccine development, etc. So there are various processes to find out the proper protein structure. It contains like X-ray crystallography process, or electron microscopy process, or nuclear magnetic resonance process. It process takes a very, very long time to find the structure of the protein. So in general, it took around 60 years to find out only 170,000 proteins, and out of 200 millions of proteins which are available across different forms of life. That means only certain percentage has been discovered till date. So by using the AlphaFold, it accelerates the entire process to finding the protein structure rapidly and with more accuracy. So for an example, AlphaFold helps to discover the structure of SARS-CoV virus and helps finding the COVID-19 vaccines. So in the context of financial investment, if you are considering a large financial institution such as a bank, so they faces a significant risk when they have to take the decision whether to lend the money to the lenders or not. So mostly they depend on the traditional risk management systems, or they have to rely on the human analysis and on the standardized credit scoring system, which may not fully capture the complexities of the applicant's financial situation or the potential risks of the investments. For an example, recently a news came into the Bloomberg News. They have reported that JP Morgan used a program. Basically, it is a AI-based program which is called COIN, the short form of contract intelligence, just to review the commercial loan agreements. So by doing this, they are annually saved around 360,000 hours of lawyers to lend the money to the loan officers. By doing this, they are interpreting around 12,000 new contracts per year. So that reviewing the entire document before lending the money is a very tedious job, and it takes a lot of time to review that entire document properly. And by using the COIN system, they effectively review all the documents which are free of any other human error, and by doing this, they are lending the money more effectively to the market. So now back to our main story. In 2015, a few of the greatest young minds came to a dinner party in Palo Alto in a Rosewood hotel, and they were discussing something kind of sci-fi called AGI, that is artificial general intelligence. It basically means a machine as smart or even smarter than human. So the machine can outperform human intelligence. The machine that can think creatively, understand the complex concept, make decisions in certain situations, and continuously learn and improve itself. For example, as I mentioned before, it could diagnose the medical conditions more accurately than the doctors. It can solve the scientific problem faster than the researcher, and even create art, music that can surpass the human creativity. So in that meeting, few greatest minds were present, like Ilya Sutskever, Elon Musk,
Sam Altman, Greg Brockman, and others. So, Greg Brockman, he left Harvard and MIT for his love for computer science and math. He wants to do something unique for humanity. Sam Altman, he was a great entrepreneur at the time at Silicon Valley. And Ilya Sutskever, he was a great AI researcher, and all of you know about Elon Musk. So at the end of the meeting, they have decided that they would form a company. The name of the company would be OpenAI. That means it is open, which focused on a non-profit things, which actually prioritize the humanity over its profit. So with the view, they left the dinner, and then Greg actually took the responsibility to form the team. Initially, they worked on Greg's apartment. That apartment is in San Francisco, and it is quite a big apartment with kitchen and living area. So he initially recruited few members, like he recruited Alec Radford, Peter Chain, and other members. And as you can see, it has been reported in OpenAI own websites. So after building the team, they have started working. And one more important thing that I need to mention, that they didn't claim that they were the only ones who could build a machine as smarter as human. But they did believe that no one else was fundamentally as smarter as the people in Greg's apartment. So in the initial days, the starting model was on LSTM, that is long short-term memory. Particularly, it is a multiplicative long short-term memory, which actually used around 4096 units to predict the next characters. It uses NVIDIA Pascal's GPU, which ran for entire month to train the model. And it works on 86 million Amazon review, and it was able to predict the sentiment, which has been published in 2017. So after that, they are working on GPT, and around at the time, the Google was also working on a different architecture, but this is called transformer architecture, which actually revolutionized that entire field by allowing the model to handle a vast amount of data more effectively. So OpenAI adapted this architecture and began training large models, which actually utilize 45 millions of website data, different websites data. So you can see both the paper published at the time, headed by Alec Radford, and you can find the link of the paper here. And then they are working on a much better model, that is GPT-3 and GPT-4. But before GPT-3 and GPT-4 came into the market, there was a very interesting story about the collaboration with the Microsoft. But before going into that story, we'd like to give a comparison chart between different GPT models. Here, as you can see, GPT-1 came into June 2018, and 2 came into 2019, and then GPT-3, the better version, came into 2020, and then finally 4 came into March 2023. So initial version was a very, very basic version, and it used 5 GBs of token. That means around 0.25 billion parameters. And the latest version actually used around 100 to 1000 billion parameter for train that entire model, which actually takes around several months to train. And they didn't give the token size on their website. After development of GPT-2, here they face significant challenges in terms of computational resources and power requirement. So most of the time they have to rely on their backdated resources. They need to upgrade the resources in Greg's apartment, and it was very hard to compete with Google's DeepMind or Facebook AI research at the time, because they are investing a lot of money for their development, and then they thought that they they should go from a non-profit to a cap for profit. Initially, Greg and Sam, they proposed to arrange 100 million, but Elon says that company should think in a bigger way, and they should announce an initial funding of about 1 billion, out of which Elon gave 45 million USD and Sam and Greg able to arrange 90 million from others. At that time, Sam, he went to a conference in Idaho and he met Satya Nadella, and they discussed about the future of AI, the goal of OpenAI, and Satya Nadella agreed to invest 1 billion in the OpenAI. And so with the help of Microsoft backing, OpenAI developed GPT-3, which actually shows its ability to generate human-like text and applications in creative writing, coding, music composition, etc. Within few days, it became a sensation and they crossed around 1 million users in just 5 days. So there are various challenges and controversies around that time, because initially OpenAI thought that company would work for non-profit thing, but including Microsoft into OpenAI, most of the OpenAI partner, they thought it could destruct their openness view. So Satya Nadella not only invested 1 billion into OpenAI, they also gave the Azure cloud platform to perform high computing tasks. So till date, Microsoft owns roughly 49% of the equity, invested around 13 billion into OpenAI. So after that, dramatic changes happened in OpenAI. On November 17, 2023, Sam Altman all of a sudden has been removed from its CEO position, and that decision was directed by the board of directors and several other members, including Ilya was there, and they cited that there are lack of confidence in Sam, and they recruited their chief technology officer Meera Murati as an interim CEO. So Greg was also shocked with that news, and he was also removed from his president position from the OpenAI, and he was also removed from the chairman position of the board. So after the removal, they are outraged from around the world, and there are lots of protests against that decision. And at that time, Satya Nadella, he was the kingmaker because he invited Sam and Greg to join Microsoft. On November 20th, he announced that Altman and Greg Brockman, they both would join Microsoft to lead a new advanced research team, but they added that they were still committed to OpenAI despite recent events. So before the leadership with Microsoft was finalized, Altman gave the board another opportunity to negotiate with him. So Microsoft trying to acquire all the members who wants to leave OpenAI at the time. About 738 employees out of 770 employees, they were decided to leave OpenAI, including Murati and Satskevar. So they signed an open letter stating that they would quit their job and join Microsoft if the board didn't rehire Altman, and OpenAI decided to give Sam's position back as a CEO, and it has been announced on November 22nd, 2023. So just after 7 days of his removal. And there were several challenges in the OpenAI, and that has been discussed here. And in 2023 and 2024, OpenAI faced multiple lawsuits for alleged copyright infringement against the author and media companies whose work were used in OpenAI's product. Despite the success of ChatGPT, it faced significant challenges. Critics pointed out the potential for generating misleading and harmful content. as well as it gives some biased responses. So there are instances where ChatGPT generated incorrect or defamatory informations about any individual. For example, in an incident, the models falsely claimed that the prominent public figure involved in a criminal activity, which actually leading to the wave of misinformations and public outrage. It has some negative impact on the individual reputation, but also raise the serious ethical questions about the reliability of AI-generated text. In another incident, ChatGPT generated some fabricated story about a well-known author at the time, which actually claims that she had plagiarized her latest book. This results a temporary halt in the sales of her book until the misinformation was corrected. So these incidents highlighted the potential AI to cause real harm if not properly managed. One other high-profile case was involved in AI-generated deepfakes in 2021. So, a deepfake video of prominent politician showing that the individual making a controversial statement that they never made. So, this video was quickly went viral and then causing a significant damages politicians' reputations before it was debunked. So this is the story about the rise of ChatGPT and OpenAI, and it has some serious negative impact as well. So as you can see, there are various news articles published regarding the job insecurity because of the rise of OpenAI and ChatGPT. So as the AI system become more capable of performing tasks that are traditionally done by humans and are concerned about the mass layoff and job displacement, many industries fear that the automation could lead to widespread of unemployment and job insecurity affecting millions of workers worldwide. So in that news here, you can see several other companies, they raise the concern that the workforce could be reduced, and in a survey 45% said that they were automating the tasks to reduce the staffing and labor costs. So there are various news came out and mass layoff of the jobs was happening at that time. So in total around 300 million jobs globally stand to impacted by AI automation according to the Goldman Sachs report. So OpenAI's commitment to transparency, safety, and ethical consideration will play a crucial role in shaping how the technologies are integrated into the society. The company's ability to balance commercial success of its founding principle will determine its legacy, and they must address the potential disruptions to the job market and work proactively with the government, business, and other educational institutions to create pathway for workers to transition into new roles in industries. So it's a story of how business, money, and power can shape the future of the technology in profound ways. As we look for the future, the lesson from AI journey remind us the importance of balancing innovation and ethical responsibilities. Thank you all.